I welcome you to today's class as we witness yet another worship day. And I'm very happy. Just the other day, somebody was sharing some experience of ihe ọ na-agabiga kemgbe ọ joined omenala. And I discovered that there is a common challenge people are facing. Around 95% of even the omenala today are those who are first timers in traditional worshiping. True of us? True. We are children coming back from exile. Our parents and our ancestors have been enslaved into foreign worship. And we are now returning back from exile, so to say, coming back from Egypt, on our way to the promised land. Because it is said that when the people forget their God, they become slaves. Our parents and forebears haven't forgotten the God of our land, became slaves, and were born in captivity. A child of a slave is what? A slave. We were born in captivity of foreign deities, where people embraced Abraham as their father, abandoning their biological father, where they embraced Jesus as their personal Lord and Savior, abandoning the ancestral deity that gave life to them. And so, as people returning from the land of slavery, I came to realize that many people practice tradition with the vision, with the knowledge of captivity. They see menana as a normal thing with what they were taught. And like what they were taught that when you are born again, once you are born again, that old things are passed away. Is it not true?
It is.
That is what they were taught. We came to realize that these were lies. Because once you're born again, why do you need to go to church and to contribute money to the welfare of the pastor? Why does sheep have to take care of Peter? He said, Peter, feed his sheep. Alright? Then the sheep are now feeding Peter. Peter has to slaughter anyone in need to feed. Now those lies were meant to tie the creativity of people so that they will never question anything they were told. Then to seal it all, they said that the word of their God is yea and amen. That you should never add or remove. You should never question. In other words, you must be very stupid and idiotic to every spoken word of God. And I say, that's the worst form of mental slavery. Then why did God give man mind of questioning? Man should have been an animal that does not think, that only live by instinct. But rather, for the colonialists to succeed in colonizing the mental space of Africans, they have to make them to be animals in thoughts. Those who will no longer be viable in anything creativity. It is with these mental concepts that many people came into tradition. They espouse spirits and relax that once you have embraced your ancestors, once you have come and you have begged them, once you have come and you have offered sacrifice, that everything is all right, you just relax. Tomorrow they say they offered sacrifice, they didn't see anything. Tomorrow they complain as they came to tradition and they're not getting results. Now, life is all about garbage in, garbage out. Whatever input you give into creation is what it gives to you. And that is why today we are discussing about ancestral spirits and their duties. African religion is a religion of responsibility. Number one thing I want you to know that our ancestral religion is a religion of responsibility as against the religion of irresponsibility that you were born into. Christianity says you should be born again and relax, that God takes care of everything. But that is not true of African religion. African religion is a religion of responsibility. That you are responsible for whatever you become, for whatever happens to you. The gods are not to blame. You are to blame for your actions and inactions. It is not their duty to do things for you. It is your duty to take action. It is your duty to seek information. Just like in the court of law, the court can never grant you a plea that you never that bargained for. In other words, you came to court demanding for apology for what somebody did or said against you. In the course of justice, it was then discovered that you incurred some losses, but you didn't have it in mind to apply for compensation. And then, as an afterthought, you request that because that there should be compensation added. The court will tell you, no, it is what you requested for that you will get. The other one should not be the issue here. And so what we are saying here is that our ancestral religion is a religion of responsibility. It is all about garbage in, garbage out. That God cannot do for you what you're not willing to do for yourself. In other words, there is no God to bless you. Every blessing you will have from God must be your own design. The forces of our ancestors will only bring into manifestation the desires of your heart. So the question is, what do you want? When you say, God bless me, you say, fine, you are blessed. And you say the blessing, he said, but you are alive. It's a blessing. So you cannot say that you are not blessed. You say you need money, fine. When you say you didn't see money, say, but you have eaten. Even if somebody dashed you the food, when you quantify it, you say that it is worth money. And so what it's saying is that you should define whatever you want out of life. You should design it so that you know exactly what you want. Because when you're playing football without goalposts, how will you know when you have succeeded in scoring? Will you ever end that game? Many people are playing the game of life without a goalpost. Many people came into African tradition without a goalpost, without a design, without a vision. And so you just keep wasting your time. You espouse spirits without understanding their functions and duties. You espouse spirits without assigning them duties and functions. How will they serve you? Now the spiritual forces are like dogs. When a man gets a dog in his house and you're feeding the dog, you didn't train the dog to be a guide dog. You didn't train the dog to be a hunter. But all you know that you have dog in your house. Then thieves will come and steal and go. And you'll be complaining why you have dog and you allow thieves to come. You will blame the dog instead of accepting the responsibility that you failed. Because if you train the dog to be a defense, to be a protection for your house, it will be a guard dog to protect your house. But you didn't train it. You didn't assign responsibility to that dog. Then, if you assign the responsibility of a dog to be a hunter, the dog will go out and hunt animals to bring to you. What I'm saying here is that the ancestral spirits have responsibilities attached to them, that it is only when you understand their responsibility you can be able to assign them what to do for you. If you do not assign duties and responsibilities, you will remain where you were even when you were in the church. And so in today's discussion, we'll be taking the basic ancestral forces of our life, of our homes, of our tradition, and we will be discussing about their duties and functions, so that we will now talk about how do you give them assignment. Because it will be of no use for you when you have done all that you do, all that you did, spend the money you spent, and you never see a result. So, as we move on, I will want to have questions as we go. So, number one we would like to take here is, as we are talking about ancestral spirits and their duties. The first one we'll talk about here is chi. Ndị Igbo si n'ife ụwa si na chi adị mma, na obe ihe bụ chi ya ụzọ gbagbuo onwe ya n'ọsọ, na chi adị n'izu enwere ife ya eme mmadụ, na onye chi ya gburu onwere na-azọ ya. Wee na-asị gịnị bụ chi? The word chi is a name we use to represent the higher self of man. The first guardian angel, the animating force of each individual, the animating force of man. That is what we represent as chi. When we talk about animating force, we talk about that energy that gives it life. And so when we talk about chi, we talk about God of our hearts, God of our understanding. Every man have his or her own God of understanding. It is that God of your understanding that we call chi. That's why it is not chia wotu. No one nwere his personalized chi. You have the way and manner you should understand your chi. Your understanding of chi is different from my understanding of chi. So we call it a God of our consciousness. That's now a God of our consciousness. So what is the God of your consciousness? When we talk about consciousness, we talk about awareness. Your level of consciousness determines the operational level of your chi. For one who has a higher consciousness, his chi will operate on a higher consciousness. There is no limit to the energies and functions of chi, but there are limitations to individual understanding and perception. It is according to your perception and understanding that it functions for you. And so, in our climb, our ancestors used image to symbolize that entity called chi, as so that you can be able to have an instrument of communication. It does not say that that image is the chi, but it's rather a symbolic means of communication. Just like I am discussing here now, you cannot say the words I speak until I use the symbol of ABCD. So ABCD is just a symbol for communication. It is not the words. It is not the communication. The alphabet is a symbol for communication. It is not the communication itself. Does it make sense? Yes. It is in the combination and recombination of the alphabets that define the words that I speak. And so that is exactly what our ancestors did. They used images to symbolize the deities and entities. It does not say that these are the spirit itself, but rather for ease of recognition, for ease of communication, we use symbols. So when they say the ancestors don't have writing technique, it is a lie. Writing is all about symbolic system of communication. And every tradition on earth have their symbolic means of communication. So every communication have their method of writing. So on the spiritual side, in our land, this is one of the symbols. One of the most important symbols of our life is the image of sheep. Now, when you talk about the chi, the chi itself has specific functions and duties with which we understand it. Now, what does the chi represent? The chi is the number one manager of your life. That's why it is called your guardian angel. It is your chief guardian angel. So number one duty is chief guardian angel. Now, it is the interest of your chi that you gather experiences upon this earth for your higher ascension. And so his duties is to allow you and give you opportunity to gather experiences. So your chi goes into the agreement. It is also responsible for protection. Now, survival. Its interest is for you to survive so that you can gather those experiences. Yes. Each experience. Representation. It is your chi that represents you anywhere, anytime. Ebe ọ na-akpọrọ gị oku, ọ chi gị ejeze oku na mmụọ. So, chi is the guardian angel, the first guardian angel of your life. It is your representative. It protects you. It ensures that you survive. It also is duty to ensure that you pay whatever debt you're owing. Now, what this means is that ebe ọ na-akpọrọ gị oku na mmụọ, ọ chi gị na-eje aza oku. Unfortunately, ajụgbo nwata n'ogu, agwa agafe ama nna ya, ajụgbo chi gị n'ogu, ọ chi gị asọrenda. Ọ bụrụ onye a chọrọ igbu egbu, once ajụta gị n'ogu, chi gị asị, okay, ngwa, go ahead, ka ọ kwụọ onye nwe ụgwọ. Even when you don't want to die, your chi has accepted to die. Does it make sense? I got a call in the night of one of our sisters that she was very sick, that she just gave birth, that she's almost dying. She couldn't breathe. She was struggling to breathe. And somehow, I was awake since around 2 o'clock, and I was working. So throughout, I was focusing on our members, wherever they are, sending energy of love and healing. I didn't know that something was happening somewhere. So that call came. Unfortunately, my wife didn't tell me. Then, early this morning, she said she didn't want to disturb me in sleep. Early this morning, she told me. I said I was aware that there's danger somewhere. But then, I called them. In inquiring, I said na nne ya jere njem, and na ọ jụtara ya n'ogu na nwa ọ mụrụ n'afọ kparịrị ya, chụpụ ya n'ụlọ ya dị afọ na ọ ga-anwụ. And chi ya asọrịdago na ogu ahụ na nwa ọ mụrụ n'afọ na o jugburu ya n'ogu. Chi ya ọ dị wrong? You may say as a mother, that's why she should do that. But many of you as parents, you have done worse. You have killed your children and you have empty shells living. When you speak and say any negative word against your child with emotion, automatically you have sentenced the child to spiritual death, whether you know it or not. Because you use the authority of parenthood to curse that child. And it takes effect. It is the duty of the chi na ajụgbuo n'ogu or surrender. And that is why eji si onye buchi ya ụzọ ọgbagbuo onwe ya n'ọsọ. The only way chi gị nwere ike iji wee nụọ ọgụ bụ ọ bụrụ na ibu ụzọ gwa ya nye ya ogu. That is why in anything you're doing, onye ọzọ ị chọrọ ime ibu ụzọ jee gwa chi gị. It is your duty to inform your chi before any undertaking in this life. Otherwise, when danger comes, chi gaghị enwe logic o ga-eji wee n'ọgụ ahụ. The higher self doesn't know logic, he knows plain truth. Am I communicating? The higher self does not know logic, he knows plain truth. He represents truth the way it is. It is you that gives it logic. Ọ gị ga-agwa chim na ihe a na-eje, ọ chim na ife nchọrọ ime, na ihe nchọrọ otu aka nsi chọọ ka ọ dị ya, duo m ije. Ọ ya wụ nsogbu pụta, chi ga-asị na nwa m gwara m na mụ na ya kwekọrịta na ife a ka anyị eme. O defend ya gị na ya. Ọ bụrụ na nya nwaanyị bụ ụzọ jee gwa chi ya na ihe nne m mere na ihe o mere na alaikọrọ m ya. On that ground, mgbe aha ebujepụta ya tụọ ya n'alụsị, jee gwọọ ọgwụ ka egbuo ya, chi ya ga-apụtasị na erizin nwa ji mee ihe a na o jikwa n'ogu. Ogu means logic. Am I communicating? Yes. Ogu means logic. No ogu. Iji. Ka chi gị ga-eji were oge i nyere chi gị ka ọ ga-eji nụrụ gị ọgụ. So for many people who say once you come to omenala and the way ịbata na ịdị born again, na inwego protection, aha gị was sorry. There is no protection when you are not communicating and giving instruction to the forces that you have espoused. You have to take care of that thing before. Am I communicating? Yes. There is no protection you will get when you're not working with them, before any action of yours, gee na chi gị, gwa chi gị, gwakwana ya reason, gwa ya ebe ị na-eje, chi gị nabata ya, o jiri ogwu ahụ jewe ọgụ na mmụọ. Am I talking?
Yes, sir.
So, that is what I'm saying here is that this is the reason many people idubatacha mmụọ. Ị ka na-ata afọ ị na-ajụ why? Because mmụọ edubatara, a na-anapụ ya, inyere ya duty ya. It is I say that African religion is a religion of responsibility. In other words, it is a constant responsibility for you to interact with them, to inform them things. They represent you in the inner world. And so you give them information of your direction. Once there's an accord between you, they will move towards that direction of your desire. And they will defend you on whatever comes out from it, because it is an agreed decision. Am I communicating here? Yes. It is not a religion of you have done it and you can relax. Epụta na atụrụ chi golugo na nye go aja enwe ife mfuru. Or epụta na akọ ogologo akụkọ na enwere isi na ọdụ. Now many people spend more of their time complaining to their chi and the forces, their problem. Unknown to them, they are simply giving them, this is what I want you to do for me. Problems. The most stupid thing people do is to go to their altar or wherever you're praying and you're crying about your problem. Nature does not understand negative command. All you understand is more problem is what you want, because life is all about garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you voice out, nature doesn't know whether it's a joke. Nature doesn't know whether you're in pain. What nature knows is that this is what you have given them to multiply for you. It's like taking paper to scanning machine or to photocopying machine. When the informations are not correct, and you say, correct this information for me, and you scan it, and you photocopy it, what will it give you? Nature will give you more. Nature does not give you the same thing. If you give nature 1, nature will give you 100 in return. If it's 1 positive, 100 positive, 1 negative, 1,000,000 negative. And so, this is one of the reasons why people do things, they don't get results. And they are blaming the man did for them, or blaming everyone because of irresponsibility which they espouse while in the slave land of Christianity. This one lesson we must learn if you want to succeed in this journey. Traditional institution is a journey that you will continue all through your life. But it's one exciting journey that you are meant to interact with forces beyond human understanding. And so, we have dealt about how the responsibility of chi and what it does for you. So when you don't give it information and logic with which to work for you, the information of what your desire, the picture of what you give to it, and the direction you're going is a logic with which it will defend you when the forces of distraction come in the inner world. You give it a key where it presents that this is the direction of my son. Anywhere you go, this is the direction of my son. And this is the reason why he's doing this. So nobody will distract you because it will ensure stability and focus in your life. Any question on that? Please check online. I would like to, each one will entertain questions surrounding it, because this is important if you are to be successful, it is not something you do and you sit down or you start praying like fools who don't know that life is all about designing what you want and you're expecting God to bless you. That is the nature of the Christians. They expect God to bless them. And that's why they will keep suffering over and over. Because while they're expecting God to bless them, they are creating negative situations in their mind, in their life. Yes, it is said in their listener, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You are thinking negative conditions of your life, and you're asking God for blessing. Does the two work together? No. In any argument between imaginations of the mind and the words of the mouth, imagination will always defeat. Because imagination is the language of the gods. Imagination is the language and signature of the gods. You can never get anything from the force of nature without imagination. You cannot communicate with your chi without imagination. And that is why you don't need to speak words before your altar. All you need to do is think about what you want, visualize it, and appreciate them for what they have done. Does that make sense? Yes. Any question on that? Yes. All right, yes. Any question?
My question goes like this. When somebody introduces a spirit, you have to assign it assignment. For example, there are some spirits that already have an assignment, a particular assignment. Then when you introduce it, can you change its assignment to your own taste assignment? For example,
I don't know what they're saying, because for now, we are talking about the basic ancestral force of your life. When we get to that point, have you learned this one? You are not doing this. You're busy going to bring other spirits when you're not a master of yourself. You want to master another spirit. That's foolishness. Master your primary forces of life. That is the instruction I'm giving you now. Stop thinking of any other spirit out. And where more anywhere succeed in your life, yes.
It's been said that the spirit controls the physical. Does it mean our chi does not till we instruct them?
Good. The spirit controls the physical. You are the one that gives inputs of the direction you want, because the spirits have an overall view. Now, for example, you have a direction you want to go. What the spirit is after is that you should succeed in life. Now, what God does success mean to you? Success can mean being on earth and living 100 years without money. The spirit does not understand what money is. And so if you want to have money, if money is success to you, then you have to tell the spirit that this success that I want is the definition of money, is the definition of success to me. That's how you control the driving steering of that seat. The computer is powerful. Without you giving correct imputation to the computer, it will give you any direction, any which way. Am I communicating? Yes. Go and ask INEC of Nigeria. So, what I'm saying is, your chi is a higher force that have understanding of all. It's a subconscious energy. If you do not program your subconscious towards a certain direction, it will keep moving to a general direction that may not fit your life as at present. Am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
It will keep going, but it may not fit your desire at this point in your incarnation. That is why you have to impute your desire into that subconscious periphery. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, we move to the next one. I want you To any other question there?
No, his response is yes, sir.
All right, yes. We can be another name assign. I said the reason when you come to tradition, you espouse spirits. In other words, you are not in harmony with them. You need to be in harmony with it. Good. It is when you espouse, you can give direction. Until then, what you are doing is appealing for clemency, susopeda, inepiloma. But onye nọ na-edubata chi ya na-aghọ onwe ya aghụghọ. Because iburu ọnụ for 1 month wee dubata ya, ọ ya enye gị nni for the rest of your life. So no aghụghọ. All right. So, thank you for that. The next one is Ikenga. In our ancestral pantheon, when we talk about pantheon, we're talking about the deities of our land. In our ancestral pantheon, Ikenga is a prominent deity. Oya ka ndị Igbo na-ji say, Ikenga adịghị ike awa ya nkụ. The word Ikenga literally means power of being. Ikenga, power of being. That word, power of being, shows that the inherent power behind the deities. And that is why, enwere Ikenga, chi na-enwe Ikenga, Ikenga chi, nwee Ikenga agwụ, Ikenga ndị mmiri, Ikenga ndị ichie. In other words, it is the power of operation of a deity. And so edubata chi, the next thing I know, okay, edubata Ikenga, oge eji akpa ike. So the word Ikenga is a symbolic entity of power. Ikenga is a symbolic symbol. Symbolic image of power and authority. And that is why the image of Ikenga is often in every place in our land. The image of Ikenga always possesses horn. The horn of an animal represents power and authority. They represent defense. Am I communicating? And so, the Ikenga is an instrument of power and blessing and protection and defense. For the Igbo man, for our ancestors, a man cannot be a man if he has no Ikenga. And so, when you espouse your chi, you always are advised to espouse Ikenga. Am I communicating? Now, in our environment, there is a universal archetype. In other words, in the spiritual arena, there is a force of representation that indwells in the life of everyone about these pantheons. And so, we have symbols that represent these archetypes, of which Ikenga is one. And so, when you have this, when you understand the function of the Ikenga, what is his duty? Protection, defense, power of acquisition. Okay. Power of action. Now, what Ikenga does, okay, this is an image of Ikenga. Wait on back. Now, this is an image of Ikenga, where you see the horns that it represents, that it carries. Every Ikenga, no matter the design, have horns. You have some, it will carry some things. It will always carry cutlass and ofo. Now, it is also used to represent God of war. That is why Amadioha na-enwe Ikenga. Now, most deities, Agwu na-enwe Ikenga. Most deities, a na-eme activate Ikenga ya. In other words, activating his force of action, his power of activity. And so, idubata chigi, dubata Ikenga. What assignment can you the Ikenga? Because anything you want to achieve, Egwa chigi, na direction, Igbo Ikenga gi, si ano yanwa, ya butike eji eme ya. Nne na-ekwu na-achọ ike Pentikọst, amara mmụọ na-ebute ike Pentikọst. Ikenga bụ mmụọ na-ebute ike, na-enye ike, na-enye gị the urge. What it does in you is to give you the urge of action, to give you a backing force of strength. And so, whenever you are assigning or you desire anything, or you're going towards any direction, it is your responsibility to inform Ikenga the direction you're going. Am I communicating? Yes. Once again, traditional religion is not a religion of idleness. It's not a religion, once you join, you relax, all things start working on their own. It's a lie. There is no such religion upon the earth. That's the worst deceit of Christianity. When you're born again, all things are passed away. And those who have been born 20 times are still suffering and struggling. Because it is the duty of man to take responsibility for his life. It is your duty to take up your destiny. So Ikenga is an instrument of destiny. You give it direction. Dibia gwachala gị ọgwụ, ọ na-enye Ikenga aja ka ọ pawa ya. Am I communicating? Yes. And so it is a symbol of power and action. Ọ ya ka eji si na Ikenga Ikenga mmadụ kwụsị ịkpa ike awa ya nkụ. If your Ikenga is not active, then it's of no use. It becomes an ordinary wood that have no purpose. And that's why Anna Wake Ikenga. Because that's a universal archetype of force, of power. Ikenga is a symbolic representation of the universal archetype of power and action. Am I communicating? I want you to take this note. It's very important that a symbolic image, Ikenga is a symbolic image of the universal archetype of power and action. Ikenga, which means power of being, is a symbolic image of the universal archetype of power and action. Am I communicating here? Yeah. So it's your duty, anything you are doing, if you want that thing to have action, if you have that thing to function, to be powerful, to be active, you have to go to Ikenga, to inform Ikenga that you need action in this direction. Action in any direction is the responsibility and duty of Ikenga. So you now say action in any direction is the duty of Ikenga. Action in any direction of life is the duty of Ikenga. Ịchọ ka ị progress ya in business, ị ga-agwa Ikenga gị ka o tinyere gị action, ka ọ pawara gị this thing ị na-eme, ka o nye more life into it. That is the duty and responsibility of Ikenga, because as a symbol of universal archetype of power, it represents the spiritual force of power on earth. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Every nation have their own image that represent this archetype. Every nation have their own image. For us, our image of the archetype of power is Ikenga. That's what we call it. Am I communicating?
Yes.
All right. Any question on this direction? So, how successful have you been in your omenala? That you are the reason why things are not moving the way you want it, because you have not been assigning the forces in charge of what you want them done for you. When you have a gate man, and anytime you step down, go and open gate and drive in and come and close it. You want to go out, you come, open the gate, you go out, you come and close it. Do you have any right to blame the gate man for not doing his duty? Because you didn't give the gate man the opportunity to work. You didn't ask the gate man, this is your work, do it. Yes, question there.
Sir, when we are espousing those spirits, do we give each spirit its own Ikenga, or does one Ikenga powers?
If for you, we normally use one Ikenga to represent all. There is a point you grow. I want to dibia. If you don't separate where all and call one, so but for you, one, because each one, like Godoli, I say, and there, the Ikenga, you're going to chase Ikenga, there, not getting an local, so that it connects all the energies. All right. Any question online? Yes, there.
My question, somebody that has accepted his chi, but the chi is not within him. How can they?
That is not the question concerning me now. What I'm concerned here is how to understand the functions of these spiritual entities and how to assign them to do their duties. How to impute the right program into the computers of your life. Because you have computer, like many of you have handsets, and the handset are liability to you. How many people at their phone bringing money to their bank every week? How many people here can phone and they will go into their bank every week? Yes. Now phone give me a go. On what liability came well? Data in a team here is wasted. If your phone is only to chat, to call folks, to make call, you better go and look for Nokia Touch. Stop wasting data. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Phone is a business tool. Android phone is a business tool. That's why whatever business you're doing should have an online interface where people from every nation of the world will communicate and do transaction with you. If you're not doing it, Ahage was sorry. Because you're losing out from a large percentage of wealth that you are meant to acquire. So, if you must succeed in this 21st century, get to learn how to make your phone to work for you. Now, when we talk about the same thing is what we are saying about what we are doing. Ihe a na-akụzi ebe a, that the information you have, na ihe a na-akụzi na mmụọ idowere, the spirit you espouse, is as useless to you when you don't know how to impute information to them so that they can give you service. They will become liability. Na-eri gị nri n'ahụ, ị na-akparị ya nri, ọ na-eri nri, nkịta nọ n'ụlọ gị na-eri nri na-agba abụba, ndị ori bịa ezu oge ori na weta nye ya. Ịjọ ndị mmadụ ọsị kpọwa ya bịa fewa arụsị, because they don't know what it means for arụsị to serve you. Arụsị is meant to serve us. Arụsị na-efe anyị, but because you don't know, you reverse the situation. Ị na-asa abụzi ya, agụ a na-egbu gị. Ọ ya ka ebe a ka ji nwee the concept of na onye na-ekpere arụsị na-adị ka arụsị, because onye ahụ bụ liability debe ya, doesn't know how to impute commands to get returns. What you are being taught is how to impute command to the forces of nature, and you get returns, and they pay big returns. Am I communicating? Yes. They pay big returns. Nwere onye nyere m sending 1 million naira as my commission n'ọrụ m rụrụ last week. Maka agwa m ya, any which way client must pay. For more than 6 months, onye a na-eme isi bakabaka nsị agweta ya, apịara ya mmanwụ, 2 weeks ọ kwụọ ya 1 million naira bata na akaụntụ m. Arụsị na-enye m ive m na-eri. So ka ndị ọzọ na-ekwu na naira na nwee ka ọ dị, ọ gbasa m. Onye ọzọ na-eme omenala na-complain, onye ahụ anụmanụ. Quote me, because you done what you're supposed to do. The forces of life have control over all spheres and all human this the mind. All that needs to be done is to impute the right command. Onye ahụ na-ekwe n'isi. Nwanne ọwụ na mgbada ada akwụghị ụgwọ bịa na mma ife anyị ma akwụọ gị ụgwọ, inye m my own. Ụdị ọgwụ ọsọ onye ọcha na-agwọ. Anyị agwụ ya na ife nna anyị makara nke nna bama. Because o nwere oge anyị ji ejidefa. Na ndị nna ha bịa mebiela anyị ife. So na onye akwụ ụgwọ a ha enweta udo. Ma akwụ ya na udo anyị adị n'ọgụ ya ada na ọnwụ ya na-egbusisi ha. Anchi ya chọọ ka ọnwụ gbusisi ya, echi ya asịa ngwa kwụọ ya ụgwọ a ka udo dịkwa. Ọrụ eziokwu, mgbada na-akwụ ụgwọ. So, or imputing the right command to the right spirit. So, even the ife ahụ na ikenga gị nwere ọrụ na-alụrụ gị, mmụọ niile nwere ọrụ ha na-alụ. So, we have talked about chi and ikenga. Then the next one we'll talk about, let's talk about Abu. Gịnị bụ Abu? Abu mmụọ a na-akpọ mmụọ ozi. The spirit, the messenger spirit. The messenger spirit. Ndị ọcha gọlịa esi na Gabriel. Now, what you don't know is that this is the spirit that controls intuition. Intelligence, technology. Yes, you can still come as to. Yes, can doesn't matter. Communication. Healing, prophecy.
Information.
Yes, information is there, communication is there. And
Inspirations.
inspiration,
Personal organization.
focus, personal organization. Because it can disorganize you. Yes. Kwasaring and kwakọring. Am I communicating? I was in charge of kwasaring and kwakọring. Imezie ya ọkwakọ gị. Imezi ya ọkwasasịa gị. Ị na-eme na gịnị adị mma na ị na-enye agwụ nri. Ọ na-eyi gị egwu. Rise and fall, promise and fail. Because when it is not in harmony with you or with your direction, if that direction in a go matter your desire, only plan nke ya, there is no cohesion, there is no agreement. Can two work together except they agree?
No.
Now what I'm saying here is this. Many of you na-edozi agwụ, yet ihe na-ebu unu na-ego unu na-amarọ. In recent time, I noticed him that now nwere specific amount now nlu ebe ahụ ọkụtuo mbidokwa si ya mba nchọwa ya asị na njụa na ọgbụgba ndụ m asị na alụra m ọrụ ya nsị ọgịrị na-eme asị njee na agwụ na ngwabe ndị agwụ ka ha mepee ụzọ ya ka ekubatawa ya njee na agwụ were aja sị ha na ebe m na-ekwu ihe ọ nawa ikuku butebe ego akwụsị no limitation, and immediately mere ya that week otu a gosi na-eme ya vum na a na-atụ election na a na-anọ a na-ego naira sụkwa ma ọ sịrọ ego esi n'ikuku na-abata alat na-eme pem wee ruo oke nya nke o megapụ ma otu ọ gbughee mfu obi memoto a gbumi mana ọ nwere alat ga obi esheki gị ọ na-enwetaba alat obi ji sheki gị iwu n'elu kwụọ onye nọ na nkta aka ntị mana ibidobe. What I'm saying here is this. It is of no use that you espouse agwụ ọ ka na-eyi gị egwu or it is not working for you. They are meant to serve you. That's why onye sị na a na-efe alụsị nsị a no alụsị na-efe anyị. Ọ na-alụsị efewebe gị, ọ na-alụsị asabụbe gị ma a na-ede eme omenala ihe na-eme omenelu omenụka. Am I communicating? God is not looking for who will serve him. The forces are not looking for who will serve them. They are looking for partners who will work with them. The forces you're espousing are supposed to be your partners that you discuss your plans with. If you're doing this over time, they will become so rich that when you sit down alone, they will come and you will see them sitting around you. It's not only when you're in your altar, but that you've initiated the move of always creating time to discuss with them. If they will tell you things that will make you to laugh. They will bring ideas. Gị na na-akpa nkata. O nwere ike onye nọ na room ọzọ na-anụ olu gị na-atụ onye ka onye na onye a na-ekwu. Ọ bata nwere onye ọ ya afụ. These forces are highly animated. They are willing to discuss with you on a live, living, personal level. But it's your duty to initiate that means of interaction, to create time. The problem we have is that we create 90% of our time for our business, while we only have 1% for the spirits and the next 9% for doing nothing. time eji esi na onye asị gị ịbata environment ị kwesịrị ipe attention chọ ị na-ekuru nsị na-aṅụ is a time you need to sit in one place and move inwards and begin to commune with the forces. Because once you have espoused them, they are with you in all eternity. Onye mere ịnọ n'ebe a anọ ebe a lụọ ọrụ onye n'obodo oyibo a na-afụ results. Maka onye jụrụ ajụjụ ndị eli because I've said it time without number that spirits have no limitation. The most important thing is to do the work of espousing and then begin communicating with them for wherever you are. And so, if you need intuition, if you need inspiration in whatever, I don't know anything you're doing in life that you will not need intuition. I don't know whatever you're doing in life that you don't need information. But ihe ọ ị na-eme, ị ga-need inner guidance. How would that guiding spirit ga-enye gị inner guidance? Ma ọ na gị na ya dị in harmony. Ma ọ na ị na-akọsala ife ị na-eme. Na ị chọrọ ime ihe dị otu a, na ị na-aga akwụkwọ, ị na-egwe agwụ, na-ekwe ahịa, na-ekwe ife na ihe nchọrọ ka m achieve. Ọ ya ga-ewetara gị the connections, the communications ị ga-eji were succeed in it. In your business, we have ideas you can make impute and you succeed. And so, if you do not understand its duty and how to relate with it, how to communicate, how to impute your desires so that it can work with it to give you feedback, sorry. Before going to sleep, there's no reason why you should not tell Agwu information There are subconscious forces that pick up the instruction and give you the feedback in your dream and in your waking state. Oftentimes they respond to you in golden tongue wisdom by linking you to information or solution to a challenge that has been bedeviling you. What I'm saying is, this is one of the pantheons of our ancestors. And until you learn how to put them to work, they remain liability because to take up the responsibility to give it command what to do for you. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Where you don't do that, you're not actually you're not service. You will say, oh, yeah. Instead of the other way around. That is the problem we have with all these nattered Omenana people. Because they come with the Christian mentality. No megi and no solve good problem. No chugaja. No look all right. Why did you stop working here? Error. Instruction again. Did you recognize it? Did you take action? That is why time before this work. If you don't tell me, because none of information, then I will say, for the next 8 days, it is your duty to give me information about your dreams. In other words, all duty give by people in Akbo, you pour them more biko ya bịa nye gị information dey relevant to the success of this work. If you think about it, say it, and then you just never imagine this otu ebe ị na-eme enjoy the process of that work and you go to sleep. A ga-abịa na nrọ enwe ebe nwe loophole agwakwa gị ya you're supposed to communicate with me nje na that altar je tight ya not nke ahụ because mechanical osiara gị moto ọ na test iburu arụsị engine test ya eburu agawa Lagos ịpụ n'ụzọ ọkwụsịghị n'ụzọ ị ga-blame mechanic. You can't blame the mechanic. Your duty is test run within the town and where any place of friction or the tight in there until every area is perfected. It is not different from the work of the Dibia. His own is to help you put everything into working order. Your own is to make the inquiry to give him the feedback, because the forces will always come in your dream. But because of the mental acquisition of Christianity, ị na-claim right na-eme ya echi si na dibia alụtaghị ọrụ, and ikwu ka any word or iche anything against dibia, mmụọ niile ya na ya so eburu akara ori wee gị mgbe ahụ ọ wụzie from fry pan to fire. That's why when he said any tongue that rises in judgment against you is condemned. Ada eme ebere na omenala ebe ọ dị worse. Ikwutọ ha onye ahụ ma ọkọ ha akụkọ na-adịghị anya n'ebe ọ nọ, mmụọ niile na-asọ akpụ ọgụ. So what I'm saying, because ajụta gị n'ogu or information, onye ọ na-ekọtọrọ ife na-eji ya apụọ n'ọgụ. The higher you grow spiritually, whoever say ill against you na-enwe problem. Most of you know here, you watch ya, ndị niile na-eme nsogbu na-enwe problem. And ebe ọ na ha ji agasa na ijere gwọ ọrụ ha ọgwụ. But what they don't know is that no mmụọ gị jere ọgwụ even without your awareness. Because the effort you're making to expand your spirituality, the more they will be gathering to defend you. So what I'm saying here is that it is very important for us to understand that African religion is the religion of responsibility. And we will be rounding up here. By next week, we will continue because we have others here to take care of. Spirit wife and husband is there. Obanje is there. Ndiche is there. Omada is there. Ndemili is there. Amadioha is there. Ogugu not there. Ala not there. Njoko not there. And to different spirits that you cannot imagine. Ebe a ka a ga-agazi nyawa onye na-ajụ mmụọ kpọbatara mgbe onye dozibe nke ya na-asị na-enyebe instruction ị na-akpọbata mmụọ ebe a ka agwa gị conditions ha ji anabata mmụọ ọnwụ na ha nọ na-eliju afọ ịbịa iweta ha nke ya basị ha kee nri a ga-ekwe ya ka ọ rụọ ọrụ. So in conclusion, next week I continue to the next spirit, but I want you to fully understand the duties of every spirit and deity. Impute action. Don't allow them to remain dormant or fallow. And then another thing I will ask for all of you here and those online, if you know of any spirit or deity, the land wherever you're living, more name are not there, send the name in our WhatsApp so that we can ask about its functions and duties. Ka anyị jụtara gị esi amara ife ọ na-arụ, ka amarazi agwagotu ị ga-esi wee ti ya n'ọrụ ka ọ saabụwa gị. Ma ọwụ mmụọ obodo gị, ma ọwụ mmụọ obodo gị, ebe ọwụ na ịma mmụọ ọwụ na afa ya ọwụ na, send the names. Anyị kpọọ ya jụọ ya, gbaa afa jụọ ya, ọ ga-enye anyị information ife ọ na-arụ. Last time, m gbara afa maka Cubana. Ọ wụrụ alụsị, agwara m ife niile ọ na-alụ, mere onye ọ na-akpọbatara ya, onye a na-azụ, and many people na-akpọbata ya in different names. And so, what we're saying is that wherever you're living, there are territorial spirits there. In whatever business you are, there are spirits there. If you know of anyone, if you know their name, send the information. We will declassify that information to get its purpose, functions, and duties, and give you that feedback, called Baraguru, so that the spirit will start serving you. Can I take you responsibility? Now, when I communicate with spirits, may these spirits all partners in progress. May you continue to grow in wealth, prosperity, and health. Nike Chukwu Kabiama.